Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the fifth grade concept of dividing decimals. This is Readiness Practice 5.3G, Proficient version. If you're interested in exploring the intermediate or advanced versions of 5.3G or the Readiness Practice resource line with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So we have a bakery, and a bakery's earned over $700 in 24 days. And we see this right here, the same amount each day. That gives us our hint that we're dealing with equal groups. And our equal groups mean multiplication or division. And since we already have a total, right, here's my total is 758.40. And we have 24 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into 24 little tiny chunks. So let's break it up into half. Let's break each half in half. And then let's break each quarter into thirds. That gets me 12. And then if I break each of these into half, I'm going to get 24. So that's a lot of little tiny chunks, but that's how we would represent this. We want to figure out how much is in each of these one little chunks. And so we are going to use division here. So let's divide this 24 into 758.4. Now it's 0.40, but we can always drop a zero after a decimal or add a zero after a decimal as needed. So let's go ahead and initially just drop that zero. We can always add it back if we need to. Bring the decimal right up on the division bar, and then just divide like normal. 24 goes into 75 three times, because 3 times 25 is going to be 75. So we're right underneath that with 72. So that's going to be 38. And so that is going to be 24 goes in there once, 24. Now we've got 144, and that's going to go in 6 times, and that's actually going to be even. So that's going to be 12, that's 14. All right, so 144. And so 31.6. So we need to put that back in dollars and cents. We can say the bakery earned. We'll put $31. Now we'll add that zero back in. So 31.60 each day. For our next problem, we have a rope 135.5 feet long, cut in 25 equal pieces. So it's going to be that same setup here. We got a 135.5 is our total, and we need to set it up into 25 equal pieces. Right? So we would break this up into fifths, then break each fifth into fifths. That's a lot of little pieces, and since they're equal pieces, we are going to divide 25 into 135.5. Let's bring the decimal up there. 25 goes into 13 0 times, so 135 5 times, because 5 times 25 is 125, so we're going to get close. That's 10,105. So that goes in there 4 times. Gives me 100. Now, I've got a remainder 5. Let's add a 0. 25 goes into 50 twice, and then there we go. That's going to get me all I need. So 5.42 is our answer. Now let's put that back in context. Each rope will be, and then we've got my 5.42. What is my unit of measure? Feet. Feet long. All right. So for our third problem, we have a library. There are 346.8 pounds of books, and each box weighs 48 pounds. So this is going to be a slightly different strip diagram. So how many boxes will we need? So what I have is I've got 346.8, and then I've got sets of 48, 48-pound boxes, or 48-pound maximum in each box. My question is, how many groups of that? So I know how big each group is. I just don't know how many groups there are. So we would represent that this way. But either way, we're just going to try to see how many 48s can we get out of uh, 346.8. So let's divide this 346.8, bring that up. 48 does not go into 34, so now we're going to have to kind of estimate how many times 48 goes into 346. So 48 is almost 50. 346 is almost 350. So I'm going to guess 7. Let's see. So that's 7. That's going to be 56. That's 28. And then 28 is going to be 336. All right, so just right underneath there. So that was a good guess. That's 108. 48 goes in there twice because that's going to give me a 96. Right, so that's going to be, now we need a 0 down here. Okay, so we've got that 120, and then 48 goes in there twice again. It's 96. And that's going to leave me with 24. So 240. So we're having to add another 0 here. So how many times can 48 go into 240? I feel like it's going to be 5. That might be the end of our journey here. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. 20, 24. All right, so that is going to be a final division in there. So how many boxes will the librarian need? Well, here's our answer. Our answer is 7.225. Since these are boxes, we're going to assume that we can't have 0.225 of a box. Okay, so we can say the librarian will need now, since we can't have 7.225 boxes, we will say we're going to round that to the next highest whole number. So it's not really rounding, we're just going to the next whole number, at least 8 boxes, because we can't have a decimal of a box. And the maximum each box can hold is 48 pounds. So we can hold less. So if you have 8 boxes, you can distribute out that weight evenly to make sure that each box has the same amount, and you can just be underneath the 48 pounds. So if you're interested in exploring the Readiness Practice Resource 5.3G, the intermediate or advanced version, or the Readiness Practice Resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.